Hi there. Hope you're having a lovely day so far. Well, this year, Mother's Day is going to be very different. With self-isolation and social distancing, parents will be searching for a whole new way of celebrating this special day and honouring all the incredible women in our lives. That being our mums, our grandmothers, our stepmothers, mothers-in-law, our aunts, sisters, friends, fellow mums, and women who love with a mother's heart. Amongst many of the challenges this year, there will undoubtedly be the increased use of technology to help us stay in touch with those that we love and other people that have actually touched our heart. But the question is, what else can we be doing to make this day special? Well, lucky for us today, we're joined by our special guest, Sonia Motum, a mindset expert and coach at Energy Coaching, to help us talk to all the different tips and advice to help make the most of Mother's Day this year. Now, for more than 20 years, Sonia's corporate career in HR has used evidence-based coaching techniques and tools and resources and positive psychology interventions to support and help others succeed and thrive in all areas of their life. Now, Sonia is going to share with us today how we can actually make the most of Mother's Day this year and how to encourage you and your family's joy, even if you're possibly in a negative frame of mind, and how to maintain a positive mindset through these tough times. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sonia. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a real honour, and we're very grateful for your time. Now, we actually know that you have first-hand experience in developing women to be the best they can be and providing them with the tools, exercises and support to help them succeed and thrive in all areas of their life. I'd love to know, initially, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge that we're actually faced with this upcoming Mother's Day? And really, what can we sort of do to overcome those challenges?
Sure. I think women generally are really hard on themselves, and we have really high expectations of ourselves and how things, should unfold, or how we would ideally like things to unfold. And I think harnessing our mindset is really critical for us to enjoy Mother's Day this year, particularly with everything that's going on in the world and locally with the COVID-19 and the impacts that has not only globally but also within our own lives, and the negative thoughts that we can so easily get into about our future state or what might happen in the future. So I think really harnessing positive thoughts and really focusing on what is in your realm of control, which is your happiness, and the choice that we can make to be happy on Mother's Day and to have a really beautiful experience this year, regardless of however you celebrate it, whether it's virtually or with your immediate family.
Great advice. We understand that you have a passion for behavioural coaching and helping others to transform their lives into an optimum state, that being through visioning and action planning and the achievement of goals. I'd love to understand what affirmations could you recommend that families use when celebrating Mother's Day this year?
Sure. I think it's really important with affirmations, if we have to believe them in order to assimilate them, in order to take them on. And so they have to be realistic, because if I created an affirmation for someone and said, I'm going to have the best Mother's Day ever, but we don't believe that to be true, we're not going to embody that affirmation. So the first thing is to create an affirmation that you can embody, which is, you might start with the sentence, I'm open to having and experiencing a really beautiful, wonderful Mother's Day this year. I'm open to it. And when we're open to it, we have more of a chance of actually taking that on board and believing it to be true. So really setting your intention at the beginning of the day really helps you to align to the outcome that you're desiring or wanting to experience. So the affirmation or the intention of, being open to having and experiencing a really happy Mother's Day. And we can create that for ourselves based on, what we give our attention to, what we put our energy behind. So really choosing positive thoughts and choosing really to have a beautiful day with your family.
So could you just explain a little bit more about this? So is it the fact that we truly need to believe what we're, the affirmations, and that's the only way to actually bring them into our life? And if we actually saying something that we feel disconnected from, that we
Yes.
don't actually believe and we don't feel is actually part of us, and that is possible, that it's less likely to happen. Is that how it works? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like if we use a different example, if I said to you, I think you're beautiful, but you don't believe it to be true, you're never going to take that on. You're never going to embody the belief that I'm beautiful, because we're rejecting it both mentally and energetically. So if I said, to you, I ask you to be open to the belief that you are beautiful. You go, yeah, I can be open to that possibility. I can be open to that belief. And therefore, with that opening, we're better able to start believing, that we're beautiful. So it's the same with the Mother's Day. If I said, that you're going to, the affirmation is, I'm going to have and experience a wonderful Mother's Day, but we're not believing that to be true, we will reject that. Yeah. So putting in front makes it easier for us to own and to embody.
Yeah, so it's something that does resonate with us, that we do believe, and for that reason, setting those intentions will actually make it sort of be, as opposed to just, I understand what you're saying. We just have to actually believe what we're, with the affirmations that we're putting out. Well, you also know to help support others and help uncover what is actually driving their thoughts, their beliefs, and resulting behavior using, as we said earlier on, the evidence-based coaching techniques. Now, for a mum who may be struggling a little bit this year, what are some positive techniques that a mum can apply to help keep a positive frame of mind this year?
Absolutely. So the first thing I'd say is be really mindful of what you give your attention to and your energy to. So if it's really easy with the current situation to think, to be in fear, to worry about the future state, or to hook into negative thinking spirals. So whatever we give our attention to and put our energy behind, we're attracting more of. So if we're thinking negatively, we're going to attract more negative experiences. So you want to actually catch your thoughts and interrupt them. And that's as simple as saying, every time you put your mind into a negative thought, or you think something negatively, you say to yourself, stop, just stop, interrupt it. The more you do that, you're interrupting the negative neural pathways that have been formed over time, and you're replacing them with positive neural pathways. The other thing I would say is be really mindful of how much news you watch, particularly at this time. That it's important to stay informed, but news generally has a negative bias. They report on tragedy and negative situations. So you want to be really mindful of how much news you're watching, because news generally makes us feel fearful and not upbeat. So if you can limit that, that will also help. There's a lot of research around being grateful and practicing gratitude daily. The more we're grateful for this, even the simple things in life, receiving a beautiful hug from our children, or our cup of coffee in the morning, or the fact that the sun's out, really just everyday occurrences, but being really grateful for the fact that we have food on the table, for example, helps us to feel more positive and to attract more good things in our life. And one thing for mum, this is a really beautiful ritual that you can do with your children, is create a gratitude jar and get your children to even decorate the jar. And at the end of and from a positive psychology perspective, we need 3 positive occurrences to counterbalance 1 negative occurrence. So if you can, at the end of the day, put 3 good things, write down 3 good things and put them into the jar, it helps reset the mind to the positive. And if you do it at the end of the day, it's a beautiful way to reset your mind to the positive before you go to sleep. The other really wonderful thing with having a gratitude jar is, if your child ever experiences a bad day, you can open the jar, pull out all the things you're grateful for, and read through them and reset again your mind to the positive.
Yes.
Yeah. The The other thing to be mindful of is, as a parent, we're a role model for our children, and our children feed off our energy, and they really look to us to determine what is acceptable and unacceptable behaviour. So even if you're feeling down or stressed or overwhelmed, or you feel really anxious, setting an intention to show up as your best self, just even for the day, on Mother's Day, I'm showing up as my best self and being a role model for my children, will help you, align to that intention throughout the day, and will support you in having a really joyful time with your children and with your family.
Some wonderful pearls of wisdom there. Thank you for that. And as I said, we've got lots of other stuff to talk about, but I mean, each one of those that you've just highlighted are each extremely powerful, as I said, pieces of advice. And what I'm hearing is the fact that every thought and action that we have either can be negative or positive. And no matter what you do, is having just that mindfulness is just sort of saying to yourself internally, is this thought negative or positive? And always choosing the positive action thought over the negative in everything that we're doing. Above all, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And the more we can interrupt the negative thinking styles and thoughts, the quieter they become over time. And not only can we quieten them down, we can actually eradicate them so we don't experience them. Because if we keep interrupting them, we're breaking that neural pathway. So yeah, you can eradicate them overall.
Now, we published your article and the title is How to Make the Most of Mother's Day This Year. For someone who hasn't read the article yet, can you please give us an overview of what it's about and just tell us what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with COVID-19 happening, and we know there's restrictions in terms of being able to see our loved ones, and for many people, they're out of work as well. So we have the financial, restrictions as well, or challenges. And it's giving ideas to how we can do it differently this year, but still really enjoy and celebrate all the things that are wonderful about mothers, and changing the way that we might normally celebrate Mother's Day, but we remember how we feel, not actually what we did. So really thinking about how do we create experiences and beautiful memories in what's in our realm of control this year.
It's going to be one year to remember, that's for sure. Now, in your article, you've got some wonderful questions and answers, and we'll have a link to the article in the introduction paragraph for everybody else to read. But also, I'd love to be able to understand, why is it so important for mums and families to keep a positive mindset this particular Mother's Day?
Because mums deserve to be celebrated. Mums do such a selfless job, and they often put everyone else above and before their own needs, if they ever even connect into their needs and action them. So I think it's really important that this is one day of the year that we get to really celebrate mums and thank them for showing up and being there for us. And so yeah, I think it's really important that we take that opportunity, and we think really positively about what we can do and how we can celebrate mums this year versus what we can't, and what the restrictions are and what we have to let go of or do differently.
And what can mothers and families in isolation do to help develop and maintain a positive mindset?
Sure. I mean, as I said, it's really about making sure that you catch your negative thinking styles and bring them back to the, to the positive, and even just bring yourself back into the present moment. Often anxiety and fear is generated from thinking about the future state and worrying about what might be. Yeah, so really bring yourself back into the present by even just taking a few deep breaths in, centering yourself, letting go of any anxiety or overwhelm, and bringing yourself back into the present moment is always helpful. Catching those thoughts that aren't supporting you, and interrupting them and saying, no, I'm not going there today. I'm going to focus on being positive and enjoying my time with my family. And re-scripting any dialogue that isn't supporting you, and really setting your intention for what you want to experience on Mother's Day. You know, knowing that you deserve to be loved and to experience love and to celebrate being a mum. I think it's a really beautiful occasion that it's really important that we celebrate.
Most definitely. Well, you know, I'd love to understand a little bit more, like, why is it so important to celebrate Mother's Day, even if, you know, they are sort of feeling in a little bit of a negative state of mind and they don't feel like celebrating. Why is it so important to ensure that you are celebrating it?
Yeah, because first and foremost, I really believe that mums deserve to be celebrated. They do such an incredible job and a selfless job. And it's one day of the year that we can give back to our mums and acknowledge all the wonderful things that they do for us throughout all of our, you know, all of our years. The other thing, it's really important to receive as well as to give. And mums generally are great at giving, but it's equally important that they are open to receiving. And
Yeah.
Mother's Day enables them to receive and to be loved and to experience, you know, being loved. It's also important that children have the opportunity to thank their mum and to show their mum how much they mean to them, you know, and that's your children's opportunity to give. Yeah, so it's really important that we give and receive, and that's in balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've given us some incredible tips and advice today. If you were to summarize, I guess, your key messages for any listener, mum, dad, possibly even children as well listening, what will your key messages be?
Yeah. I would say harness the power of your mind for good. Yeah. Don't let your mind control you. You control it. And, you know, you're worth celebrating on Mother's Day. You know, so show up as the best version of yourself. Set your intention to have a really beautiful day with your family and look to celebrate in ways that you might not have before, but with the gift of time in lockdown, you know, we can be really creative. We don't have to spend a lot of money. We can make our Mother's Day cards. We can go outside and play outside and do some fun games together. I think really look to enjoy your time. And family's really important. You know, family's a beautiful thing. So really look to celebrate and enjoy all the wonderful things about being a mum and being a family.
And the last question I have, because we are a week out from Mother's Day, what can we be doing throughout the week to set us up to make sure that Sunday is going to be a super day? Is there anything in particular? Is it just a matter of waking up on the day and hoping for the best and doing all the stuff that you've just mentioned, or do we need to be sort of like building up to that particular mindset for the day?
Mm-hmm. Well, as humans, we love a schedule and we love structure. Structure holds our energy and helps us to feel safe. So if you can have a bit of a structure around your day, at least think about what would you like to do that makes you happy. You know, do you want to make a cake with your family, or would you prefer them to make it and surprise you? Think about what your needs are and how those needs might be met on Mother's Day. You know, if you do have expectations, and often we do, around how the day might unfold, it's really important that you share those expectations with others, because often we have them, we hold them internally and we don't share them. And then we expect others to deliver them, and when they're not, we can get disappointed. So if you do have expectations of how you'd like your Mother's Day to unfold, share those with your loved ones. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're spontaneous, well, then just allow it to flow and be open to however it may unfold, and let go of the expectations, and you probably will be pleasantly surprised.
Oh, thank you so much for your time today, Sonia. If anyone's got any other questions, whereabouts can they find you?
Sure. I've got a website, which is energycoaching.net.au. I'm on LinkedIn under Sonia Motum. I've got a Facebook on Energy Coaching Australia. So, or you can call me on my mobile. So 0413 945 125. Happy to help, and would love to support anyone that wants to really tap into being their best self and unlock what I call their hidden potential, because we all have incredible potential. Sometimes it's just covered with our limited beliefs and fears and stories.
Yes, Absolutely. Well, take care, and I really hope for the opportunity to chat with you again soon. All the best.
Wonderful. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for
Bye.
having me.
Bye.
Bye.